Hello, my good people. Hello, family. Buni Tena Sana to our podcast. It's 2025, and I'm so excited to be here and to have you back. If you're new here, even though to be honest, I feel like we are all new, I cannot believe it's been more than a year. Life has lifed to the point that I had to say, you know what? Let me life this life now. Yeah. All in all, good things take time, so we are back, refreshed and ready. Allow me to reintroduce myself. I'm your host, Linda Mack. I like to think of myself as that fire that is igniting those much needed family conversations on finances. Now, let me ask you, how many of us started this year with the traditional New Year resolutions list? You know, we've bid January, February, and March goodbye. The first quarter is like far distant now, but to be honest, I'm sure many of us have missed those many gym sessions, or we've skipped our budgeting sessions as well, and kind of like even forgotten why we even started in the first place. No judgment. And to be honest, statistics show that about 80% of New Year resolutions fail by February. So if you're feeling the pinch, just know you're not alone. And that's why I want to dedicate this first session of ours on goal setting. Not just any goals, but setting goals that stick, goals that transform, and most importantly, goals that align with our individual family values and future aspirations. Let me give you a quick example. Maybe it's just you, or you know someone who at the beginning of the year they told you, you know what, by June I'm going to buy a car. But they had not really looked at, so what's my budget? How much do I want to spend on this car? What are the costs that are associated with me acquiring this car? What car would be practical for me if I have a family? Which car would be economical for me and still versatile to be used by my family? By the time they reach March, because that goal was very vague, it becomes a source of frustration. Yeah? So stick around. We'll talk about how to avoid this in our upcoming episodes. Now, you know me, I like starting from the basic, the very basic. So we start with, so what are goals? And what does goal setting really mean for us? So at its core, a goal is simply a desired result that you want to achieve. And the key word for me here is the word desired. And that's not by accident, because desire is what gives your goal its emotional weight. You are more likely to pursue something and pursue it consistently if you truly want it. Without desire, your goal just becomes a chore, and that goal list that you're making becomes just another to-do list, which is very hard to sustain. Now, why am I insisting on this word desire? One, desire invites the emotional investment. Because if you think about it, as human beings, we are not just rational beings. Emotions play a very big role in the way we act. Now, a goal that is rooted in your desire connects your head and your heart. And that makes you even more committed. You become emotionally invested, which in turn increases your persistence. So that's one reason. The second one is, for me, I feel like the desire reveals the authenticity around that whole process of the goal setting and goal achievement. Because when a goal comes from your own desires, your own, yako, not societal pressures or someone else's expectations, it's more likely to reflect who you truly are and what matters to you most. So let me pose this question to you. Take some time, ask yourself, when I'm setting this goal, when I'm looking at this goal, is it something I want or something I think I should want? Yeah? So that for me is the definition of a goal, right? Basically just a desired result. What is it that I want out of this? That becomes my goal. Then we think about the goal setting process. This is a process where now we are sitting down to determine what is it we want to achieve, and then we come up with a plan. And not just any plan, but a structured plan for us to be able to achieve this goal. So it's not just about saying, I want to buy that car, I want to save more money. We keep talking about when you're looking through, when you're starting out that goal setting process, that structured plan when you're looking at those goals, they need to be smart. So you have to be very specific about what it is you want to achieve. It has to be measurable. It has to be something that you can achieve within your means, or even if you're challenging yourself, maybe just a little bit, but it's something that is achievable when you stretch yourself. It's relevant and it's time bound. It's not just there open in the air. So instead of saying, I just want to save money, you have to be very specific. So a more defined goal would be like, I want to save 5,000 shillings every month for the next 6 months so that I can be able to start building my investment, or I can start growing my emergency fund, or I can be able to plow back into the emergency fund that maybe I had withdrawn some money from. So very specific. You're saying it is 5,000 shillings and on a monthly basis, so it's time bound. At the end of the month, if I have not achieved it, you have to look back and ask yourself why. Yeah. So the plan involves, you have to break down your goal into clear steps. You have to be able to track progress. And that, for me, I always believe it helps you to stay motivated along the way. Yeah, you have to be very intentional with your actions and figure out a way to align your day-to-day choices with that broader vision that you have. Yeah. And for that reason, I always say it's really not that much important for you to rush into goal setting. Take your time. And why do I always insist? Because I feel like one common mistake that people make is we rush into goal setting. We don't take time to reflect on the past, understand what our true, authentic desires are, and then as well to evaluate our current situation. So we end up rushing, and this rushed approach is to beat those imaginary deadlines. I don't know why we have all this. I have to have my goals set out before January so I can start it out. If you follow me, I talk about, for me, January is my month for reflection. So I do my goal setting within that month because there's a lot going on in December. January starts with a lot of pressure. So sometimes it's also good. I'm not saying you have to do, but for me, that's I've seen that work for me because I want to take time. I want to be able to reflect so that I can be able to align my goals with my core values. And that is not a process that I want to undertake when I'm busy trying to celebrate Christmas with family, get the children back to school, and all that stuff. Another key reason, and I think for me, one really main one, why I say take time with that goal setting process is because of the clarity that it brings. Clarity is very key. Before setting any goals, you need clarity on where am I now? Where do I want to go? Reflection is very crucial. If you don't understand what worked and what didn't work in the past, you can't expect to create a meaningful goal that will lead to real change. Yeah, and again, taking time helps you to avoid being overwhelmed. Rushing into setting those list of goals, it can really create an overwhelming situation. So it's very essential. At times, no, most times, focus on quality over quantity. Yeah, where you come and you set too many goals at once and you're scattering your energy, you get burnt out and you realize, by the way, you're not even moving. There's no progress. So take your time, start with a few key priorities, and then you build from there. And there's also the bit for when you take your time, there's some level of personal alignment that takes place. When you're rushing, it means you're more likely to set goals based on external pressures rather than your own internal desires. So, when you take your time, you start asking yourself, are these my goals, or are they goals that I feel obligated to pursue because of, societal expectations or other people's expectations? You take time and you get to align your goals with your own values and purpose. Yeah? What is it that I want? How will these goals help me to create lasting impact? So, take your time, reflect, strategize, and set goals that resonate with who you are and what you truly, truly want to accomplish. Through all these processes, we are not alone. So one key question I know most of us always ask ourselves is, so who do I set my goals with, and what should be a level of influence? If I'm allowing someone into my goal setting process, what level of influence should I accord them? So this is a bit of a tricky question, but for me, I would say, first and foremost, number one, it is you. You have self-reflection. You because you need to set goals with yourself in mind, with yourself at the core of it. You are the one who's going to be executing this, so it's crucial that your goals are meaningful to you first. You buy into your goals, so you take ownership of your own journey. So one, you. Second person who'd be coming in would be your spouse, your partner. And this is especially if you're setting family or financial goals, because when you're doing this, your partner's input is essential. This is someone who's going to be directly involved in the day-to-day decisions. So, if it's financial goals, you're looking at, this is someone who's going to be with you when you're doing your budgeting, when you're trying to do your saving and you're investing. So their level of influence should be high, because then it is a shared journey. And because of that, you need to look into having open, honest conversations about the financial priorities, the aspirations, and how you can be able to work together to achieve them. So your spouse or your partner comes second. Third for me would be the mentors or coaches, the professionals who can be able to come in and help you. So depending on the goals you're setting, mentors or your coaches, they can come in and provide very valuable advice. So their influence might not be as direct in terms of maybe the day-to-day actions, but they can help you to refine these goals and bring in their expertise and also help to hold you accountable, which I find very, very important. So for me as an investing coach, I guide my clients through their own financial goal setting. I offer actionable strategies, and I help them to create those personalized financial plans, and I hold them accountable. Yeah. So that for me would be third, your mentors or your coach. And then fourth, we're looking at your family and your close friends. And this would be more for personal goals that may not really involve finances as such, but more of goals that relate to your lifestyle or your own personal growth. So you're thinking about your closest friends or those family members that can offer support and encouragement. So their influence can be strong, but it should be positive. Yeah, I know not all family is family, not all friends are friends. So you need to be able to keep the naysayers in check. Surround yourself with people who believe in you, who buy into your vision, and they're looking for ways to be able to support you, and they will encourage you to stay on course. So I think those four are the key that I would think you can involve in your goal setting process, and the level of influence as well that you can accord them through that. But ultimately, your goal setting process for me should involve people who encourage your growth. So those ones that either contribute directly or help you to stay motivated along the way. Yeah. So it's also very important, and you need to be on the lookout for this, that their influence does not overshadow your own voice. You are the one on the driver's seat, so be sure that for those goals that you have, you've aligned your goals with your core values and your needs. All right, let's take a quick pause and then dive right back into today's money conversation. All in all, please remember, goal setting is not a one-time event. For me, I always view it as an ongoing process for growth, for reflection, for action. So if you're out there and you're thinking, we're already 4 months into the year, I feel like I'm too late. I haven't set goals, or, I've not even started working on the ones that I've set. Just take a step back, breathe in, breathe out, extend yourself some grace. Take time, go back maybe to the drawing board and set goals that excite you, challenge you, and most importantly, those that reflect your true aspirations. If you want to learn more about how to structure your goals for success, do stay tuned. In the upcoming episodes, I will intentionally look into exploring in depth some practicable and actionable steps that you can be able to take to be able to work on your goals and actually achieve them. As well, if you're serious about setting your finances in order, that's one of your goals, and you feel like you're at the point where you need guidance and support, I'm here to help. I've got personalized coaching programs to guide you through creating a roadmap for your financial goals. Kindly check out the show notes for the link and get in touch, and we'll be able to get you started. As I said at the beginning of this podcast, this month, for the episodes, we are going to dig into where do we go wrong with goals and how do we fix. And I'll continue sharing just tips on how we can create a system that will help us to reroute ourselves to the path towards goal achievement. For now, think about this. For you, what does success look like for you and your family in 2025? If you can, write it down. And as we go through the episode, I'm hoping that we'll be able to start that process of working on making it a reality. That's a wrap for today's episode of the Finance for Families podcast. I'm Linda Makatiani, grateful as always to be part of your family's financial journey. If you found value in today's episode, show some love by subscribing, leaving a review, or sharing it to your loved ones and other families. Here at Finance for Families, we believe every family has the power to build wealth, one honest conversation at a time. Until next time, keep talking money, keep growing together, and keep building your family legacy.